I drove as quickly as I could to the phone booth. After 15 minutes of driving, I drove past a hitchhiker. 5 minutes passed, and I drove past the same hitchhiker again. In 10 minutes, I passed by the same hitchhiker 2 times. After another 5 minutes passed, I saw the phone booth and the hitchhiker near the phone booth. I kept on driving, and when I saw the same hitchhiker again, I turned my truck around and drove to the phone booth. This time when I arrived, there was no hitchhiker near the phone booth. I quickly got out of my car and entered the phone booth. On the telephone there was a note. I grabbed the note. Have you seen the hitchhiker? If you saw him near the phone booth and kept on driving until you saw him again much further from the phone booth, you did good. You are safe. You need to do this task. In Carson City, there is a brown house surrounded by white houses. You need to buy a weapon and 12 bullets and place the weapon and ammunition on the door rug. Do the task as quickly as you can. Another note will be waiting for you in the phone booth when you complete the task. I quickly got into my truck and started driving to Carson City. When I arrived to Carson City, I went into a weapon store and bought a weapon and 12 bullets. I then traveled in the Carson City until I found the brown house surrounded by white houses. I placed the weapon and ammunition on the door rug and I calmly walked to my car and started driving to the phone booth. I spent 4 days on the road before I got near the phone booth. I spent most of my time being around various gas stations and stores. And when I started driving towards the phone booth, and when I was close to the phone booth, I saw the hitchhiker was near the booth again. So I drove past the booth, and when the 5 minutes passed and I saw the hitchhiker, I turned my truck around and drove to the phone booth. I parked my truck near the phone booth, and when I entered, I saw another note on the telephone. I took the note and started reading. Go to the destroyed building in front of the hotel which you stayed at and buy a weapon and 2 magazines. Then place the weapon and ammunition on the counter and go to your house. I took the note and placed the note in my backpack. Then when I entered my truck, I started to go drive towards the hotel. When I arrived in front of the hotel, I parked my truck and entered the old building. I found the man who sold weapons and he didn't say anything. I bought a weapon and 2 magazines full. I paid for the weapon and ammunition with $40. I then walked into the hotel and placed the weapon and ammunition on the counter. I then went inside of my truck and drove to my home. I arrived near my home, and when I walked over, I saw from the outside that many windows were broken. When I entered my house, I saw many things were broken. I turned the radio station 101 on, and I heard static again. Then I heard coordinates. Then I turned off the radio and entered my truck and drove towards the coordinates. When I was exactly at the coordinates, I dug and found a box. I opened the box and saw a note, $4,000, and 1 grenade. I started reading the note. Use the $4,000 to buy the necessary things so that you may barricade your house. Bury the box. Tonight, a group of monsters will assault your home. The grenade will help you. I buried the books, and as quickly as I could bought various nails, wood, and some other things necessary for barricades. I spent most of the day setting up the barricades on all of my windows and doors. At night, I heard many sounds of howling, and when I looked out of my front window, I saw about 60 monsters outside. I was scared. Sweat poured down on me. I was shaking. But I had my weapon ready, and I started going at the monsters. I managed to unalive several before one got in front of my door and started breaking the barricade down. I threw my grenade outside and I ran away to the opposite wall in my hallway. I heard the explosion and screams. When the monster tore about half of the barricade, I heard noises, and I saw the monster fall on the barricade. I stood there, watching the monster. I was scared. I just kept on staring and staring at the deceased body of the monster. Then I heard a broken window upstairs. I loaded my weapon and charged upwards. My legs were shaking and I felt as if I will fall on the stairs. When I arrived, I saw 4 monsters. Thankfully, their backs were turned towards me and they were focused on destroying my furniture. I went at them and managed to unalive all of them before they turned towards me. Then I heard silence. I then heard 3 pairs of footsteps and a voice say, "Do you think there are any more monsters?" I yelled out, "Hey, I am a human. I'm upstairs at the top of the stairs." I then heard them stop. I raised my weapon up and put 2 hands up in the air. I yelled out, "I have a weapon in my right arm." And just then, I saw 3 men with weapons appear at the bottom of my stairs. I recognized one of them as the gas station clerk who unalived 3 men. William, the hotel manager, and some guy who had a weapon. "That's you," William said. The gas station worker said, "We have to get out of here as quickly as possible. William, can we go in your hotel?" William replied, "I am not sure if we can go there. There are monsters there." I then spoke while going to them. "We need to go somewhere safe. Let's go to the hotel first, then see what we need to do next." All 3 of them agreed with me. I packed my bags and grabbed the radio. William was the one driving my truck while I was in the back seat. I turned on the radio station and I heard some numbers.